real, he was made up too. And while we're sitting in the plane, he said, he got out his tape recorder. He said, I want you to tell me again your experience. And as I began to tell him my experience, I began to weep. I said, you know how when a doctor is going to stick you with a needle, sometimes they rub until the skin is a little deadened, and then they hit you with the needle? Right. I said, they put something in me up on that wheel, and I'm not sure what it is, but I know something was put in me. See, it was the scroll. Now, see, all you that know me, you don't see me reading books. But ask me a question, and the answer is there, not because somebody gave it to me that you see. I speak, and another voice talks to me. You got to know who you're dealing with today. You all can bear me witness. Elijah Muhammad told me, you don't have to study. Just stand up and let God speak through you. Now I'm in New York. 50,000 people come out. Madison Square Garden holds 18 or 19,000. They lost control of the doors. The black people broke the doors down. They were standing in line with their tape recorders, with cameras, and when they were told you couldn't bring that in, they went and threw it in the garbage pail rather than lose their place in the line. 6,000 were in the Felt Forum. They lost control. And the minister spoke. It was a great night. And the next day, New York was on fire. Mayor Koch couldn't believe it, that the people would come out to hear a man that they said was a vile bigot and an anti-Semite. Now, right after that, I planned to go on a world tour. Listen, Kwame Ture calls me. You know Kwame Ture? He said, Brother Farrakhan, he said 15 groups are going to hold a press conference at the National Press Club saying hands off Libya. Now remember, in my experience, I was only told that he was planning a war, but they didn't tell me who the war was against. So Kwame says, brother, we want you to speak for us. I said, okay, my dear brother, I'll write up something. I went to the Howard Hotel. Kwame came in the room. I let him read the speech, and he okayed it. And I went down 15 nations, or members of many groups, and the Native Americans were a part of it, was saying to the government of America, hands off Libya. You can get that speech. But now I see all these cameras, and I'm wondering, is this where I'm supposed to do this? But I'm not sure. So I did what I had written to do, and when I left, the Challenger went up in space and blew up. You remember? And I started my world tour. I started in the Virgin Islands. I went to Jamaica. I went to Barbados. And from Barbados, We flew to Panama City. We had reservations in the Marriott, but when they learned it was Farrakhan, they wouldn't even let me in the hotel. That's the reach of the Zionists. It was 3 hotels. 2 turned me down, but in the 3rd one, I didn't even say who I was. They let me in, but after they found out who I was, they asked me to get out. But we didn't move. From Panama, I went to Belize. And while I was in Belize, in Central America, Reagan comes on the TV. And Reagan said that, as an executive order, no American citizen is allowed to travel to Libya. If you do, there's a $50,000 fine and 10 years in prison. And I'm looking at Mr. Reagan, and I'm saying, I wonder, is it Libya? So we leave, we go to England. I'm on my way to Africa now, and in England they arrest me in the airport. Farrakhan, yes. And your party, yes. Come with us. I knew I was persona non grata, but I was only going through London. They said, well, we have a comfortable jail. It's right outside the airport, or you can stay in this part of the airport, but you can't move. So for nearly 14 hours, I'm locked down. They waited till my family and those with me had gone on the other side into London, but they wouldn't let them back in. Only my son Mustafa was there with me. 14 hours. When it came time for us to get on the plane, I went in the bathroom and tied my shoes real tight because I didn't know what was going to go down. But it wasn't going to go down easy. God don't like punks, and God don't like cowards. When God is with you, you live for the truth and you die for the truth, but you don't back down. So I was ready to rumble. They had my passport, and when I got up on the plane, they gave my passport and a letter to the pilot. I was the first on the plane. I'm sitting in first class, and all right, I didn't have my passport. The pilot had a letter to give to the Nigerian authorities. I'm taking you through this for a reason. The plane took off. It was Nigerian Airlines. After the plane had reached cruising altitude, a beautiful black brother comes out from the cockpit. And he said, Minister Farrakhan? I said, yes. He said, I was at Madison Square Garden when you spoke. He said, here's your passport. And they gave me a letter to give to the Nigerian authorities. I tore it up. Gone in peace. I see, God makes friends. All you got to do is stand up and do God's work. and not worry about what people think. So, I'm not going to take you through all the details. We got to Nigeria. We went to Ghana. In Ghana, President Rollins had invited Muslim scholars because the talk from the CIA through the U.S.